Okay, so this video is kind of to describe and explain what I would like the kids to do for social studies this week. On our assignments on the webpage, you can see here social studies and writing are kind of going to be the same thing this week. Frederick Douglass is a man that I would like you guys to learn about and read and write a paper about this week. Now, social studies will require you to do a little research outside of IXL. But I want you guys to be using IXL to help you kind of guide your thought and guide your understanding of who Frederick Douglass is. So the first question is, when was Frederick Douglass born? Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to look that up. Let's look that up. And so this is going to be a little bit outside of IXL, where we do our research. Researching is where we look up information to learn more. You guys can be your own teachers. Kids can be their own teachers to teach themselves about things. I am excited about this time in the kids' lives where they can kind of separate themselves from their dependence on a teacher and become their own learners. People will be the best whenever they learn on their own, because they won't always have a teacher there to help them. And so we see here, I just said, when was Frederick Douglass born? We see February 1818. Okay, so we can go back to our when was Frederick Douglass born? Now we know. And it might be good here to then grab a piece of paper and write that down before you forget. And you can write down we can work on our KWL chart, our K, which is things that we know before we ever have read anything. If it's nothing, you can just put question mark. If you didn't know anything, but if maybe you did know who he was, if you knew something about him, you could write that down right here. We're going to put a line right here. And then W. What do you wonder? Any questions? I wonder, maybe it's just, I wonder who he is. I wonder who he is. Or maybe it's, I wonder, why is Frederick Douglass important? Or why is he famous? Those are questions that you can kind of ask. Now, the last one is L, learn. So this is where you're going to write down what you learn about him. And this might be where you're going to write the most information down. You know now he was born in 1818, okay? And we can click submit on here. We can go on to the next question. Oh, and it even gives us a little information that we can read about him. Until he was 20 years old, Frederick Douglass was an enslaved person. Oh, he was a slave. I can write that down here. He was a slave. Okay. What is an enslaved person? Okay. Enslaved, slave. I know the word slave. So we can write that down or pick the right answer, or we can figure out this, what is an enslaved person? We can go back to our research and answer these questions. So that is how we're going to be doing the social studies. And at the end, if we go back to our assignment here, it's D7 in social studies in IXL. We will answer questions on Douglass on IXL, and then you're going to write me a paragraph explaining who Frederick Douglass is. So if you have any questions, let me know.